Our coverage of match week 13 in MLS Next Pro tonight brings us to Queens, New York, where New York City FC 2 gears up for a second home match in the last week with a major six-pointer out east on the cards. Tonight, the Bronx Blues host Inter Miami 2 with revenge on their minds after falling to the Herons in the season. We say hello and welcome here from Belson Stadium on the campus of St. John's University. Sam Goldfarb here. Looking forward to the second and final meeting between these two teams, a meeting that carries major implications in the Eastern Conference standings. And you look at that table right now, Inter Miami and New York separated by just 1 point. One victory either way could really separate things in the standings. It's a gridlocked middle of the pack right around the playoff cut line. New York needs that victory to surge above New York for that 8th and final postseason spot. Still plenty of time left, but a competitive affair around the top 8. Jumping into some of the starting lineups, changes aplenty on both sides of things for New York City FC 2. 5 changes, largely due to the returns of Taylor Calheira, Ronald Arevalo, and Maximo Carrizo, 3 players who were being eased back into the lineup or missed time around the turn of the calendar to June. Meanwhile, Jonathan Jimenez, the mainstay, making his 10th start of the year, 8 goals and 4 assists in all competitions. He's the danger man, number 77 tonight. On the other side of things, Inter Miami changing things up as well. Still the 4-4-2 they trotted out in that victory over Orlando on Sunday, but they make 5 changes, in part due to necessity. 2 players picking up red cards the last time out, so Ricardo Montenegro and Santiago Garcia slot into center mid and center back respectively. Of course, Tyler Hall, the mainstay, and then the change between the sticks. Owen Finnerty making his 3rd start of the year after CJ Dos Santos, the fringe first-teamer, got the nod last time out. We are just about set to get things underway here on the campus of St. John's University for Inter Miami, a squad that has won its last 2 after going winless in its previous 5. That has allowed them to surge back above the playoff cut line. New York, meanwhile, unbeaten in their last 4. Matt Pilkington emphasizing the need for a consistent run of results as we hit the summertime in the Next Pro schedule. Picturesque backdrop here tonight in Jamaica, New York, in the Queensboro of the Big Apple tonight. Inter Miami making the near 1,100-mile trek up the East Coast for the second and final meeting against the Bronx Blues.
And now, here is the starting 11
for New York. It was a major bounce back in the Hudson River Derby on Saturday, a 3-2 victory in which they jumped out to a 3-0 lead by halftime. Matt Pilkington said he felt his side could have been more secure and sure-handed defensively, but understands with a thinner squad than normal and a lot of academy products in the 11 and coming off the bench, tired legs would set in. Still proud of his lads for grinding out the results after struggling to hold on to a second-half lead at New England Revolution 2 in late May. On the other side of things, Federico Higuain's bunch has won their last 2, 3-1 victory over in-state rival Orlando City B on Sunday. So it sets the stage for a very intriguing clash between pair of Eastern Conference sides sitting their stride. Well, as if you couldn't sell this match anymore with the implications in the standings, it's a pair of teams that also are 2 of the most dynamic attacking sides in all of MLS Next Pro. A New York team that currently is one of the best attacks in the league, tied for 3rd with 22 goals. They've found the back of the net 10 times in the last 3 matches. Meanwhile, Inter Miami not far behind with 20 goals on the season, so it should be an eventful night for both keepers between the sticks here tonight. New York trotting out on the pitch finally getting ready to get things underway. They are in the white with black numbers. Inter Miami 2 is in the black jerseys. They'll be going from right to left on your screen. Second home match on the trot for New York after spending the entire month of May away from the cozy confines of Belson Stadium. Two sides back up to full strength here tonight. Calheira looking set to get us underway. Miami will kick things off to begin proceedings. It's Brian Destin standing over it, returning to the lineup after coming off the bench the last time out against Orlando. Partnered up with the number 9, Ryan Carmichael. An Inter Miami side looking to make gains on the top 4 in the East. A New York team looking to surge back above the playoff cut line. And underway here from Queens, New York, Belson Stadium. A major Eastern Conference 6-pointer here in the Big Apple. Say thank you for joining us here on MLSNextPro.com. Sam Goldfarb here, excited to bring you all of the action as these two sides meet for the first time since March 17th. That day, a 3-2 victory for Inter Miami 2. The man who scored a brace and the winner in Leo Afonso, not in the lineup tonight. So Inter Miami will be forced to get its goals from elsewhere. Here is Ricardo Montenegro. It's broken up well by Piero Elias. And looking for Aravallo, his first start in the last 3 matches. While talking to Matt Pilkington, he mentioned the thin nature of his squad towards the tail end of May. The likes of Carrizo and others on youth national team duty. Ronald Aravallo, a non-factor the last couple weeks, not in the match day squad. Now he's got his full complement of players. A relatively healthy bunch, touch wood. And hoping this is the moment where they can start to make their move up the Eastern Conference standings. One that is thoroughly gridlocked, as you saw off the top. This is Nick Sesak, one of the more dynamic attacking fullbacks in MLS Next Pro. He wanted the run of Carmichael, not quite on the same wavelength. As you get your first look at Will Meyer, the 25-year-old between the sticks for New York tonight. An Akron product who heroically filled the void of Alex Rando after he went down with an injury midway through the second half in that Hudson River Derby victory. Matt Pilkington said he was happy with the way he stepped in and handled the budding storm that Red Bulls 2 threw their way in the second half. Did concede a couple, but made a couple of notable saves as well. Well, it is a beautiful night here in the Queensboro of the Big Apple. Temperature 74 degrees. Mildly cloudy skies, but any precipitation is held off for the time being. Should make for great conditions on a very nice playing surface here at Belson Stadium. Calheira wins this back and picks out Aravallo, who cuts inside. and was weaving through traffic, required Montenegro's attention. Cleared only as far as Drew Baera, who's unable to keep that one in play. We mentioned it before kickoff. If you like goals, this is the match for you. An Inter Miami team that has found the back of the net in every match it has played this season. And a New York team that has caught fire going forward lately. There's Aravallo, a busy man here early. Elias looking for the talisman Calheira. Left clear to Carmichael, who does manage to keep this in play. The flag stays down as well. Second team All-American at Hofstra. Right nearby here, by the way, in Hempstead, New York. So somewhat of a homecoming for him. Casas will lose out here to Elias. Well, when you look up front, Carmichael and Destin partnered together. One of the more fearsome duos in Next Pro. Inter Miami side that is known for its versatility and ability to play different systems, but having those two as your duo of nines, your two aces up front, a few better combinations in the league. This is Maximo Carrizo in his return to the 11 tonight. A young budding homegrown star that has drawn rave reviews from the likes of Mac Pilkington and members of the New York organization. And Jacob Arroyave wins the match's first set piece. It is a pair of relatively young squads, teams reliant on their academy and pro pathways. Got to give credit to both teams. Less than a decade old, but have invested considerably in their youth systems. As Tyler Hall blasts that out of play for a throw. And as a result, with the addition of Next Pro, you've seen many of these young players progress onto homegrown contracts, especially in these two organizations. Carrizo perhaps is the best case study, the youngest player to ever sign an MLS first team contract 2 years ago. Just 16, was 14 years of age when he put pen to paper for the first team. And here he is. We'll pick out Elias in circuitous fashion. Aravallo has options ahead. Calheira wanted the return ball. Comes free to Pep Casas. Here's Carmichael. Support in the form of boat ride. Cross read perfectly by Samuel Owusu, native of Ghana, who has made his trade with New York City FC the last couple seasons. Calheira. This is Ronald Arevalo, a 20-year-old starlet on the right flank. And support in the form of Baera. Is it dangling back towards Carrizo? Well, just joining us tonight, we thank you for tuning in on MLSNextPro.com. An Eastern Conference Friday night clash with major implications in terms of how the top 8 will look after this weekend. Both could wind up comfortably within it. Both could wind up outside of the playoff places, depending on how results break. For Miami, the swing is very large. Could be 4th by the end of the night, or could tumble perilously close to that 8th spot if they were to drop all 3 points here tonight. It's these types of matches which define how the table looks come October. Carrizo. This is Elias, the 21-year-old. Comes free to Ricardo Montenegro. Destin. Trio of goals to his name this season. This is Boatwright. Casas. And the shoving match draws the ire of the lead official. Whistle sounds against Taylor Calheira. It is a decorated crew. Melvin Rivas leading things tonight. This is a nice flick on towards Destin, who's into the penalty area for the first time tonight for Miami. Casas. It's Melvin Rivas, Amiclar Sikaju, Justin Lopez, and Justin Saporito, the 4th official that is our officiating crew tonight. Morales has issues clearing, and Santiago Garcia commits the professional foul on Arevalo. First man in the book tonight comes 13 minutes in. And, well, Santiago Garcia got himself into a troublesome situation here, struggling to play out the back and just dragging his competition to the deck before any chance can materialize. Knows what he's doing, and Melvin Rivas reaching into his pocket for the first time.
Tarjeta amarilla en el minuto 13 para el número 14 de Miami, Santiago Garcia.
Garcia, the first man in the book, his 4th start of the year. He is the man who replaces Ian Frey, one of the 2 Miami players to receive red cards on Sunday afternoon. Still managed to procure a 3-1 victory over Orlando City Bay for their 2nd consecutive victory over the Lions this year. Hoping for the same fate tonight against a New York side they toppled at Chase Stadium in March. press starting to take effect for Miami. These are a pair of sides that play a very similar style, and Matt Pilkington on the phone this week was pretty clear about that. Said it'll make for an intriguing battle because we're both possession-oriented, we both want to monopolize the ball and create chances, and as a result, it really comes down to who can make the most of their time in possession and turn it into clear-cut opportunities. On paper, it makes for a very enthralling contest, and it certainly was that the first time these two squads locked horns. With both beginning to hit their strides with the calendar flipping to summertime, it's a good time and a good litmus test for both units. Jimenez winning the set piece, and another yellow shown. This time it appears to Israel Boatwright, the 19-year-old. So 2 defenders in the book within the opening quarter of an hour, and this is Israel Boatwright, the 19-year-old. You just see here, goes for the ball and, well, hip-to-hip contact. You may feel perhaps it's a harsher yellow than Garcia's from moments ago, but 2 men in the book nonetheless for Inter Miami 2. A side that already has battled its discipline issues when it comes to red cards on the campaign. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by St. John's University, the official undergraduate partner of New York City FC 2. Of course, this match, as all other New York City FC 2 matches, being played on the campus of St. John's University, Felson Stadium in Jamaica, New York, the Queensboro of the Big Apple. Of course, the first team playing at the renowned Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Jimenez, a standout piece all year for New York. Scored the opener last week. He's brought down right on the edge of the area here. And a free kick from just outside the box. It appeared Ricardo Montenegro was the culprit. Jimenez's first real spell of action, and he generates a very promising set piece for the Bronx Blues. This is a very tight angle, though. You notice the wall will be pretty tight on the goal, and there's not enough room to get this up and down for many. It is Arevalo and Taylor Calheira in the immediate vicinity for New York. Calheira has a hit, and he finds the back of the net. A lovely strike, and New York in front. Well, welcome back, Taylor Calheira. Didn't feature on Saturday. His first major opportunity, doesn't miss a beat, and opens the scoring here in the 19th. Lovely free kick. He opts to go low towards the bottom right, curls it perfectly towards the side netting. And yet another goal for Calheira, who has just been on a tear this season for the Baby Blues. Fourth goal of the campaign in next pro play. 7th goal in all competitions for Taylor Calheira. And the UMBC product opening the scoring just shy of the 20-minute mark.
For Calheira, dicen. Gol de New York City, anotado en el minuto 19 por el número 99.
And Taylor Calheira,
Para Calheira, este es su cuarto gol de la
product of
temporada.
UMBC. Spent 5 years there before being drafted 66th overall in the 2024 MLS Super Draft. He was named America East Striker of the Year the last 2 seasons. Has transitioned terrifically to the pro game. And perhaps Tiao hunting more carnage finally hoofed out of play. So Taylor Calheira, the 22-year-old in the 19th minute, is what makes the difference. A lovely set piece from just outside the box. Someone who just is a walking goal scorer. Ended his UMBC career 8th all-time in program history in goals. Scored 32 times for the Retrievers. And Matt Pilkington said he knew from watching his film and meeting him that he would be a terrific fit. Someone who gets along very well with the dressing room and obviously is a terrific and very versatile piece going forward for New York. Casas wants the swift reply. It's a great ball into the path of Destin, but whiffed at it and winds up in the welcome gloves of Will Meyer. If you just flip the channel, 19th minute, Taylor Calheira. Terrific set piece from just outside the area. New York opening the scoring here at home. Here's Boatwright, and who seeded that set piece. It's a flashing cross that finds the feet of Sesak. Casas. And now Sesak. Just a bundle of energy. Playing tonight slightly out of his normal position at left back. Normally a right back, but Boatwright is occupying that position this evening. And here he is once again. Thinking well here with Pep Casas. Montenegro. And back for Sesak. It's a darting cross. It found the feet of Carmichael, and it was a much-needed intervention in the heart of defense by New York. For a moment, the goal was beckoning. Finally pinged free to the goal scorer, Calheira. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by Adidas, the official kit supplier for New York City FC 2. Midway through the first half, a 1-0 New York advantage over Inter Miami 2. Taylor Calheira is the man whose strike makes the difference. A 19th minute firecracker from the edge of the area on a set piece. And notably, really, their first proper chance of the match. The first time Finnerty called into action. He's unable to answer the bell, but placement on that nearly made it unsavable. There's Baera, the right back for New York City FC tonight. Arayave. Jimenez. Slithering towards the penalty area. And late contact for Boatwright. Cedes another set piece, and he has to be careful, already sitting on a yellow card. And this set piece positioning, arguably even more appetizing than the last one. You've got to figure 99 in white won't be hesitant about blasting this goalward. Calheira and Arroyave in the immediate vicinity once again, and this time Calheira clattering it off the wall. First time around, goalkeeper's vision impaired. That time the wall does its job, but cedes the match's first corner. New York continuing to pile on the pressure after opening the scoring moments ago. Arroyave to take this set piece. Here is his in-swinger. It's towards the heart of the area, and well, Finnerty didn't exactly read that properly. Stuck like a deer in the headlights, and fortunate nobody in white came onto the end of it. Instead, it's just a corner mercifully. It's a good ball in, and well, nobody really goes to head this away until it finally flashes across goal and Tyler Hall deals with it. I think Finnerty, miscommunication between himself and Sesak, and well, that could have been disastrous had there been a man in white closer to it. There's another corner delivery, and this time headed over by Calheira. So some early turbulence at the back for Inter Miami. Perhaps fortunate to only be trailing by a goal. There is your look at the man between the sticks tonight. Owen Finnerty, a Michigan State graduate who spent last season with Detroit City. Someone who was the regular starter last year for a good chunk of the season for the Herons, but fell out of the 11 after struggling, and between himself, CJ Dos Santos, and a few other key pieces between the sticks, there hasn't been a lot of opportunity for him, but making his third start tonight, and someone who garnered a lot of attention coming out of high school with his ability and potential. Of course, next pro, the opportunity to play, make mistakes, and learn from them. Someone of his quality should shine here as the years progress. There's Arevalo. It's an enticing ball towards Calheira, and the intervention by Hall does just enough. Calheira committing a foul in the process anyways. Perhaps Hall came off a little worse for wear. 18-year-old center back still prone on the pitch. He's been a fixture of this defense all year for Inter Miami too. He's played all but 12 minutes of his 10 starts prior to tonight. He bleeds Inter Miami colors. Appears he'll be attended to by the physios. Well, for those unfamiliar, whenever the physios have to come on the pitch, they either decide whether the player must come off or the team must play a man down for the next 2 minutes. It appears Hall okay to continue. It's good to see that. due to the off-field treatment rule, that means that New York playing a man up temporarily. Those rules, of course, in place to reduce gamesmanship and time wasting. And when you look at the numbers throughout NextPro, it is so incredibly impressive how both the off-field treatment and time substitution rules have increased the time of play, so much so that they have implemented it on a trial basis in the parent league, MLS. Miami, a man down for a couple minutes and change, as it appears they will leave Hall out there to continue. Carrizo. Aravalo, an involved man early for New York. Here is the 20-year-old Salvadorian. Well, half hour gone here from Belson Stadium. A largely cagey affair between two of the best attacks in MLS Next Pro, but Taylor Calheira's 19th minute opener from a set piece making the difference. And what a strike it was. Just a bona fide goal scorer continuing to make his impact felt for the lads in white tonight. There's an inviting ball into the path of Calheira. It is dealt with by Santiago Garcia. And good to see Tyler Hall back on the pitch and content to continue. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by Etihad Airways, the official airline partner of New York City FC 2. If you're Miami, you've got to find a way to both play out of this press and create some notable opportunities. Not many forays into the final third for a team that had seemingly climbed out of a slump going forward on Sunday. They've been on the back foot, and they've ceded yet another corner, the third of the night for New York. Federico Higuain's bunch, very little opportunity to wreak havoc going forward. Another set piece off the boot of Arayave. This time an out swinger, and is stabbed away by Carmichael. Here is Arayave, the 16-year-olds. The many young talents with incredibly high promise and potential for NYCFC 2. And another one of those, Carrizo winning this set piece. Another yellow card brandished. This time, Derek Martinez, the 20-year-old, shown the yellow card. Third man in the book in this first half alone by Miami, and just runs into the back of Carrizo trying to win the ball. May have had a tug of the jersey, and I believe that is what drew the caution from the official. So the 20-year-old Martinez, making his second start tonight, is in the book for the first time this season. It's a good delivery on this free kick, and ultimately winds up outside the path of Owusu. But yet another corner kick coming of it for New York. Hawks Blues continuing to twist the screws as we approach the business end of this first half. Ariave to deliver the in-swinger once again. Fourth corner of the night for New York. Swerving towards the near post. Took a knuckle and Finnerty claims without any real trouble. Safe to say it's been a much different affair than the one we saw in March. That was a 3-2 triumph for Inter Miami 2. One which had 2 first-half goals, as well as New York erasing the 2-goal deficit in the second. It's an 83rd minute Leo Afonso goal which made the difference. Just 1 goal in it so far. Carrizo curling towards the back stick. Finnerty on top of it before Calheira could cause any real trouble. But in that match, it was chances galore. 2 teams that, in many respects, threw caution to the wind, especially New York after they fell behind, and made for a very lively end-to-end affair. Here tonight, Miami largely pinned in. A chance has popped up for Casas. Here's Boatwright. Meyer able to prevent any corners from transpiring. And when talking to Matt Pilkington, he emphasized the need to tighten things up defensively. This is a team that has jumped out to leads against the likes of Chicago Fire 2, New York Revolution 2, and even last weekend, and have struggled to protect them. Of course, the most troublesome example came in New England on May 26th. 3-1 second half lead evaporated for the Bronx Blues, and they were forced to settle for just a point after losing the penalty shootout. And even last week, there were some nerves in the second half. Pilkington mentioned how he felt there was an attitude in the dressing room where the points were wrapped up at 3-0 and had to re-energize his group at intermission. Here tonight, though, it has been pedal to the metal so far for New York. They've been on top of things from the get-go. Jimenez. Looking for an option at the back post, and none materialized. Well, in addition to many of the talented goal scorers we've highlighted tonight, the likes of Carmichael, Calheira, and Jimenez, a pair of very qualified coaches on the touchline, both with unique stories of their own. We've mentioned Matt Pilkington ad nauseum. He has been a regular fixture of the academy ranks at New York City FC since 2016. Someone who has fallen in love with the Big Apple and knew this opportunity was too good to pass up when it came onto his desk the better part of 8 years ago. Now in his 3rd year at the helm of New York City FC2, has coached them in all 3 of their next pro campaigns. On the other side of things, it's an MLS legend, Federico Higuain, who made his trade with Columbus Crew for the large bulk of the 2010s. Ended his career, though, with Inter Miami and ascended through the academy ranks. He's in just his 2nd year with this Inter Miami 2 squad. Of course, during his time in Columbus, 55 goals, someone who knows the league top to bottom, has played with multiple organizations and is a great resource for many of these young aspiring professionals. Last season, though, for Inter Miami, it was a struggle. Bottom of the East. Just 22 points at the end of the season. Has been night and day. They're 5 off their season tally, less than halfway through 2024. And in a much better position to contend for their first trip to the postseason. Final 5 minutes await here in the opening 45. Taylor Calheira's 19th minute strike is the only semblance of scoring we've seen. What a lovely finish it was. Ball is tripped up. Christopher Teo, the culprit this time. Here's Calheira, making a menace of himself once again. Through to Arevalo, through on goal and finishes. New York doubles its advantage. It's Ronald Arevalo for the second time this year against Miami. Lovely work on the counter. Calheira draws the additional defender, slides that through perfectly weighted ball, and Arevalo puts enough steam behind it to take it beyond Owen Finnerty. New York doubling their lead before intermission. Arevalo's third goal of the season. Someone who broke out last year with 6 goals to his name. Enjoying a terrific start to 2024.
New York City! Scored in the 42nd minute by number 74, Ronald Arevalo.
Arevalo, a winger by trade, on his 5th start of the year, has been a consistent presence in the side the last couple campaigns for New York City FC 2. And announced himself to begin this year with the equalizer at Inter Miami as New York erased what was a 2-0 deficit at Chase Stadium to open the season. Now here tonight, doubling NYCFC's advantage just beyond the 40-minute mark. And a pair of frontline stars doing all the damage here for New York. Calheira in the 19th, Arevalo in the 42nd, and Dreamlands for the hosts. Arevalo's journey, so interesting. We mentioned still very young, 20 years old, and currently in the midst of his 3rd campaign with New York City FC 2. Now, it was an abridged 2022 after signing with the 2nd team, but someone who has already experienced stints abroad, playing the Danish 2nd tier and the Finnish 3rd tier in 2021 in the early stages of 22, and made his move back stateside midway through NYCFC 2's inaugural season. Calheira's bundled over. No whistle from the official. Elias was hunting Jimenez, who has done enough to win his side a set piece. And Israel Boatwright, the lightning rod once again for Inter Miami. Playing on a yellow and escaping judgment on that particular occasion. And he'll set up New York with one final set piece before halftime. Piero Elias standing over it. Towards the near post. It is cleared only as far as Carrizo. Hearing word it'll be 3 minutes of additional time before we reach halftime here at Belson Stadium.
There will be an additional 3 minutes of stoppage time added.
New York has played a dream of a first half and looking for more carnage before the break. This is Elias roving forward towards Calheira, and he gives New York a third. It is all Bronx Blues here tonight. A brace for Taylor Calheira on the stroke of halftime. This is lovely interplay from New York. It begins with Elias flashing cross, just deflects off Calheira's dome at the back stick. And New York in dreamland. 3 goals in the first half for the second consecutive match. Calheira opened the scoring in the 19th. He adds another before the break.
Goal, New York City! Scored in the 46th minute by number 99, Taylor Calheira.
Calheira's 5th goal in league play, his 8th in all competitions, and a deserved brace here in what has been a standout first half from the 22-year-old. Miami will have a lot of regrouping to do at intermission because they have been thoroughly outclassed in the opening 45 minutes. Taylor Calheira, the standout performer, someone who has been one of the top goal scorers in all of MLS Next Pro from the get-go. It's now an aggressive challenge from Ty Barton, and he will enter the officials' book as Jimenez is still dealing with the brunt of that challenge. Challenges have been flying in with reckless abandon from Inter Miami so far. This is a studs-up tackle from Ty Barton. It's a textbook yellow, catches Jimenez on the ankle, and that's a nasty one. The key creative forces for New York.
Number 12, Ty Barton in the 48th minute.
Still looking to shake off that knock.
Miami, Ty Barton.
Good to see Mr. Jimenez back on his feet. Does not seem the challenge endeared Ty Barton to his New York counterparts. Four Miami players in the book in the opening 45. Martin Garcia, Boatwright, and Derek Martinez all walking the tightrope. And we haven't reached halftime yet. Following Boatwright get the talking to, and now good to continue. We're beyond the 3 minutes of added time. First half that New York has dominated from wire to wire. Jimenez on the touchline. New York will have to finish the half with 10 men. And there is the halftime whistle.
After one half of play, it's Miami.
Another
0,
dominant
New
first
York
half for
City.
New York, led by a Taylor Calheira brace, sees them 3 in front at halftime. A trio of tallies for the hosts as they lead their Eastern Conference rivals in this major six-pointer. Calheira with 2, Aravalo with 1, New York with 3. Here at Belson Stadium, it has been all Bronx Blues through 45 minutes. Our score at the half is New York City FC 2-3, Inter Miami 0. Coming up, Michelle catches up with Carolina Corps head coach Roy Lassiter.
Really sweet. Ahí está el centro. Gol. Maxi Mesa para pegarle. Maxi le pegó. Fuerza. Al frente. Servicio. El tiro. It's saved by Carlos Corona. Con autoridad el centro. A la izquierda en las afueras del área. Le pega. Golazo. Externa, va a definir Chicho.
Vamos, dale pues, mamá ya, muerte más loco como solo tú lo sabes, así es, pon la mano en la cabeza, sacúdete, sacúdete, mira, sacúdete.
All right, MLS store, I need something fresh and clean. Let's see what you got. I need that in my size. So I like this. Cream on cream. The fit is cold. Ice cream. You like that?
Welcome back here from Belson Stadium on the campus of St. John's University. New York City FC 2 leading Inter Miami 2 by a 3-0 scoreline courtesy of Taylor Calheira's first half brace. Michelle Montaigne has a great report for us. She catches up with Carolina Corps head coach Roy Lassiter. Let's check it out.
Well, guys, I don't know how I got lucky enough to be sitting down with Roy Lassiter, but here we are in High Point, North Carolina, with the head coach of Carolina Corps. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome.
Coach, I would imagine you're pretty happy for me to be saying the words. We're here in High Point, North Carolina, after 9 straight away games to open your season. Can you try to put into perspective how challenging that actually is, playing 9 straight away?
Yeah, Michelle, it's been very, very challenging. It's, we're playing 9 away games. I don't think anybody in the country or anybody anywhere has probably played 9 straight. Now, I'm pretty sure somebody has, but it is extremely difficult, right? Not only not being able to sleep in your own bed, but having to travel and play at foreign stadiums and crowds against you, with the travel in between all of that. So it's been very hard, but the young men have learned a lot of lessons. I've gotten to know a lot of the players a little bit better and my staff a little bit better, and just being on the road. But it's been some challenging things, but I've looked forward to that.
On the note of the home opener, there is so much excitement building, not only around the league or around the team, but the entire community. How have you personally felt that, the support from everyone here?
It's been tremendous. A lot of support. First and foremost, I'm super grateful to have the opportunity to coach this team, being around the top-notch professional staff that I have, and being able just to coach the young men that I have. I'm super privileged for that, and just super excited, to be honest with you, to have this moment. It's a historical moment. It's a moment that the club has been looking forward to for a year now, and they've worked really, really hard to dig into the community, to dig into organizations and companies and associations, to get the awareness and get our badge out there of who we are, that we're in town, and so we're really looking forward to that game.
I've been here for a matter of a couple hours, and I've already had encounters with people out in the community about how excited they are for you guys to be here playing at home. Are there any fun stories or anecdotes from your experience around town?
We see bumper stickers all over the place. There's a lot of places I go, and people are already calling me coach, and I'm seriously feel very, very privileged because of that. And I know High Point is a small town, so everybody kind of knows everybody. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But it's been really, really good. Getting to know a lot of people that are in the community, people in the universities, and they got season tickets, and we'll be at the game. I'm on the flight coming home, and there's people that are already saying, we already have our tickets already. So those kind of things are really, really nice to know, and know that we're going to have that 12th man coming up this weekend. So those are all good feelings.
Coach, I know you had some experience with the club in Houston as an assistant, so MLS Next Pro overall isn't brand new to you, but this club, this organization is all new. What's your experience been like? I know we're only a third of the way through this season, but how has it been different running the independent side of things?
Well, I think first and foremost, they've been open to asking questions. What works here, what doesn't work here, things that are needed from the professional staff, stuff that is needed for players. We have a lot of young people that work in the organization that are always asking questions on how should I do this, how should I do that. So I'm really thankful for that, for allowing us as professionals and the professional staff that we have to give our input to them and to help them. We don't have all the answers, but we can have them according to our experiences. So I'm really, really glad that I'm able to interject that, and that has made things a little bit smoother. So, but things are going well.
All right, now you've been around a long time, from your days as a player to now coaching. How have you seen the MLS enterprise progress from back in your playing days to now coaching the developmental side of things?
Yeah, it's much more organized. It's much more organized. The interest from the community, the public, is greater. Obviously, we're getting much well-known players. So the organization is really, really growing. Now MLS can pick and choose which cities they want to branch out into. And now just having MLS Next Pro. I can only imagine if I was 16, 17 years old playing in MLS Next Pro, probably would have been a better soccer player. It would have been a better platform for me. I could see my path a little bit better. So I'm really happy for that. To be a part of that, to have been a part of the foundation that paved that way for players now being able to have Major League Soccer, but also have MLS Next Pro that they can develop in and get to that next level.
Imagining an even better Roy Lassiter is hard to do. But Coach, thank you so much for the time.
You're quite welcome.
Vamos, dale pues, vamos allá, muévete más loco, como solo tú lo sabes. Así es, con las manos en la cabeza, sacúdete, sacúdete, mira, sacúdete.
le pegó. Calheira. Huerta, Aldrete. Servicio, el tiro.
It's saved by Carlos Calheira. Con autoridad el centro. A la izquierda en las afueras del área le pega. ¡Golazo! Parte externa va a definir Chicho.
All right, MLS store, I need something fresh and clean. Let's see what you got. I need that in my size. It's not like this. Cream on cream? The fit is cold. I'm ice cream. You like that?
Welcome back to Belson Stadium here on MLSNextPro.com. A 3-0 lead after 45 minutes of action for the homestanding New York City FC 2 bunch. They lead Inter Miami 2 after a dominant first half. And let's take a look at some of the standout moments in those opening 45 minutes. Hint, it is a lot of chances from New York, and it picked up in the 19th minute where they opened the scoring. There were some early opportunities for Miami. This is outside the path of Destin, into the gloves of Meyer, and then they twisted the screws a little bit, had a couple of enticing half chances, but nothing that really drew too much trouble for Meyer. That was the best chance of the match for Ryan Carmichael. And then finally, Jimenez wins this set piece on the edge of the area after the challenge from Ricardo Montenegro. This sets up Taylor Calheira from just outside the area. An unbelievable placement. Tight window, wall in the immediate vicinity, no problem. Tucks it into the bottom right, opens the scoring in the 19th for New York, and that is what opened the floodgates as well for the Bronx Blues. Pick things back up just beyond the 30-minute mark. Calheira roving forward, perfectly weighted ball through, and Aravalo, finishing it off to double the advantage just about 10 minutes before the break, but they weren't done. Now in stoppage time, they win another set piece after this came across, and Calheira headed it home to cap off his brace in the opening 45 minutes. A terrific half for a revelation up front for New York. And here are the stats in those opening 45 minutes. How about this? New York scoring with all three of their shots on target, outshooting Miami 5-2 in a half that honestly was more cagey than the scoreline looks. Things really opened up after Aravalo doubled the advantage in the 42nd minute. Pass accuracy for New York is better. The fouls is something you should look at, though. Miami has 4 players in the book. Yes, the elite official was not shy about brandishing the yellow card, but some discipline issues setting up New York on set pieces in enticing positions, and also allowing them to retain possession often. So you got your look at the first half stats and highlights. How about what lies ahead in MLS Next Pro Week 13? We had some matches yesterday. How about Columbus Crew 2 leapfrogging Miami with the 3-1 victory over Revolution 2. FC Cincinnati and St. Louis City 2, two of the banner clubs in the East and West respectively, notching victories. Just one Next Pro match tomorrow. It's Huntsville City at home against Crown Legacy, and then 4 matches on Sunday. Minnesota hosting North Texas. Meanwhile, a Whitecaps FC2 side that has enjoyed a nice run of form hosts one of the better clubs in the West in LA. So there was your look around the league in MLS Next Pro, but we have 45 more minutes to determine things here. Just about set to get things back underway and begin the second half. A dream first half for New York for the second consecutive game. They'll be hoping the second half doesn't have as many late twists as Saturday's Hudson River Derby did. They jumped out to a 3-0 lead by halftime, conceded twice as tired legs set in. We'll see if fortunes have changed just 6 days later against a very dynamic Miami attack. Miami will make 2 changes to try to spice things up. Not surprising for Federico Higuain's bunch, which struggled to create opportunities outside the opening quarter of an hour. For New York, it appears the same 11, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it if you're Matt Pilkington, because Taylor Calheira and Ronald Oravalo especially dominated that first half. We will get you those substitutions when we have them confirmed. Miami making 2 changes. It appears to be the same 11.
New York City FC 2.
So 3 changes for Inter Miami 2. Begins with Ida Zeltzer-Zubaida entering the action in place of Brian Destin. While Samuel Basabe also entering the action. And Alejandro Flores, the 3rd man to join the fray for Inter Miami 2. So a couple changes on the front line. Martinez and Destin leaving. Here's Calheira driving this back after that brace in the first. Israel Boatwright also leaving. So Basabe is going to replace Boatwright in what appears to be a like-for-like swap. Would not be shocked if you see Sesok move to the right and Basabe play on the left. Flores replacing Martinez and Destin coming off for Zeltzer-Zubaida. Those are your 3 changes for Inter Miami 2. No alterations for a New York side that bossed the first half. And here's one of those standout performers in Jimenez. A triple change from Federico Higuain. Can't blame him after that first half, which lacked inspiration in both ends of the pitch. This is Carrizo, plays it across to Calheira, who had an audacious hit. Now looking for Calheira in the box. A bit too tight on Owen Finnerty. If you are just joining us, we thank you for tuning in here from Belson Stadium. Sam Goldfarb, a 3-0 New York City FC 2 lead, courtesy of a Taylor Calheira first half race in which he also assisted Ronald Oravalo's goal. Just a fantastic display across the board, especially after opening the scoring. It was all New York. Now, last week, it was a similar story. 3-0 lead at halftime in the Hudson River Derby. They conceded twice in the final 20 minutes to make things nervy. Matt Pilkington will be hoping his squad sees this one out a little more routinely. So you see the changes on your screen. Ida Zeltzer-Zubaida is definitely a man to watch for Inter Miami 2. He's begun to emerge as a more regularly used substitute. It's his 7th appearance. He scored once this year, came against Chattanooga on May 10th. That was a 46th minute equalizer in what wound up being a 2-1 home defeat. In many respects, it's been an up and down year for Inter Miami 2. They opened the season with 4 unbeaten, and they go winless in the next 5 before entering tonight winners of back-to-back matches. And in many ways, their performance indicative of many trends throughout the league. Matt Pilkington, the New York coach, said it best, said, "Our sides are constantly in rotation due to first-team demands, injuries, and the need to give academy players opportunities. And because of that, it is really hard to establish a rhythm." And when you look at Miami, a team that has rotated throughout its side very consistently, it's no surprise they've had their ebbs and flows on the form front. But altogether, still a much better start to the year than last season's Eastern Conference cellar fate. They likely will not finish remotely close to that. This is Calheira. First bout of proper pressure we've seen from Miami. Going to monopolize more of the ball. Masabe. Montenegro is bundled over by Arroyave. You saw it on the highlights after the intermission. There were chances in the early stages of the first half for Miami. Then they got hit by the 3-goal buzzsaw, so it's not out of the question for them to create legitimate chances. But if they are to mount what would be a Herculean comeback, all odds would suggest they'd need to grab one in the opening quarter of an hour to set the tone. Here's Carmichael. Was held masterfully in check in the first. Now Jimenez breaking the other direction. Has a runner in support. Jonathan Jimenez narrowly missing that near post. Definitely an eyebrow-raising opportunity here for New York's top scorer. Jimenez nearly making Miami pay on the counter. Looking at the fellow changes here for Miami, Alejandro Flores is an 18-year-old American out of the Inter Miami Academy. He has scored 2 goals this year. Someone who's in the midst of his second season with the club. Another quick break for Arevalo. Clatters into Montenegro and lets it roll for a corner. Now the 5th of the match for New York. Will be Arevalo who does the honors on this set piece. It's an outswinger. Carmichael dealing with it at the near post. Cleared only as far as Drew Baera. Arroyave. Wanted the run of Calheira, instead it falls. And Samuel Owusu nearly with a firecracker. A rare foray up from center back. Nearly adding a 4 on the scoreboard for New York. It's a long ball forward. It is dealt with unconvincingly. Finally launched clear by Chris Teo. Zeltzer Zabina's first touch. Flores Shot is deflected, and no real danger for Will Meyer, who has enjoyed a relatively calm evening between the sticks. Some half chances which maybe made his heart sink in the early stages of the first, but since then, very little to do defensively, and those are always a goalkeeper's favorite night. They have faith in him when he is called upon. Someone who filled the void of Alex Rando admirably in the second half last week. And was an all-region player back in his days at Akron. Flores. Driving it ahead towards Sesak, who gets on the end of this. Tyler Hall linking well with Sesak and winning Miami its first corner of the night. So an aggressive build-up scheme with their lead center back Tyler Hall venturing in toward the penalty area, and it yields Inter Miami to its first proper set piece of the night. It's taken short to Sesak. And they look back for Flores. There's just too much weight on that ball from Pep Casas. That kind of frustrating night. Indicative of how that first half went. Montenegro. And right now, Carmichael and his strike partners have just been on an island. No major service for him in the final third tonight, outside of the shot he had blocked 10 minutes in. A very quiet night for someone who's been a proven goal scorer his entire college and professional career. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by St. John's University, the official undergraduate partner of New York City FC 2. Again on the campus of St. John's University tonight, Belson Stadium in Jamaica, New York, in the Queensboro of the Big Apple. And the homestanding fans will be very pleased with what they've seen on the pitch so far, although still another half hour and change to see out. Zeltzer Zabida looking to add a complication to the tale. This cutback is just beyond the reach of Flores. Miami enjoying a little more life in possession to begin the second half. The question is, will it translate to any glaring chances in front of net? Montenegro. And a stab clear. Only as far as Flores, but a heavy touch presents it to Calheira. Offside flag raised, this time against Basabe. That attack being stymied in its tracks by the fourth official. This is Jimenez. Always a centerpiece for New York going forward. Looking for Calheira, who sits on a hat trick at the moment. Looking long, and Meyer off his line reads it perfectly. How about Will Meyer playing the role of sweeper in his first start of the year? Has looked very comfortable in the shoes often occupied by Alex Rando. We approach the hour mark here from Belson Stadium. Still 3-0 New York City FC 2. Fueled by the Taylor Calheira first half brace. Miami has come out with more aggression in possession and slightly more incision, but in the opening 15 of the second still have yet to manufacture any chances that have threatened Will Meyer sticks. This is Basabe, the substitute. And now Pep Casas, one of the better UNCW products in program history. There's Montenegro. Sits on it once again. Hall. Consistent bounce of possession with New York sitting off. No flashes in the armor just yet. This is Calheira. Slithering beyond Zelter Zabida. He's been a man on a mission tonight. Baera. Arevalo. Oriave leaves a loose pass, but Zelter Zabida unable to keep it in play. For New York, it's been a banner campaign. A team that has only been in existence the last 3 seasons, beginning in MLS Next Pro's inaugural season, have just failed to make the playoffs their first 2 seasons of action. They've been within 3 points of the playoff line each of their first 2 seasons, and last year missing the playoffs by a meager point. Here tonight, entered on the fringes of the top 8. If this result holds, they would surge up the table. Still plenty of footy left to be played here in the Next Pro campaign, which runs through decision day in early October. This would be a statement victory for a squad that looks well on its way to 5 matches unbeaten, which would be by far its best run of the year. This is Carrizo. Baera. Ariave. Chris Teo, the Rutgers product. Falls to Ariave. This is Jacob Ariave. Shot deflected, falls to Carrizo, and no real trouble for Finnerty. The most routine stop he's had to make all night. Also on the subject of New York's season, it's not just the improved performance in league play so far. There's also the historic U.S. Open Cup run, which ended in the round of 16. Won 4 U.S. Open Cup matches, upset the likes of Hartford Athletic and Colorado Springs Switchbacks before finally falling to New Mexico on May 21st. But what an unbelievable run it was for a third-tier squad, the final next pro team remaining in the Open Cup. For Inter Miami, neither the first or second team was a participant. New York magical run in America's top domestic cup competition. The final third-tier squad remaining as well. Every USL League One team had exited shy of the round of 32. So speaks to the gravity of that accomplishment. Carrizo. Calheira still hunting that hat trick. Playing like he hasn't found the back of the net yet. Arayave. Arevalo, now Carrizo. This is brilliant interplay for New York. Elias charges it into Carrizo. Shot is deflected, and excellent work by Finnerty to get down at his near post. Far more confident display here to begin the second half from Owen Finnerty. Regrettably, couldn't do much on at least 2 of those tallies from New York. Maybe could have done better with Arevalo's chance. Not his fault for the result on the scoreboard. This is Ryan Carmichael. Flores. Sesak. The Indiana product. It's a low cross this time. Charged away confidently by Matt Leong, the Columbia graduate. When talking to Matt Pilkington, he said, when we score a lot of goals, we unfortunately tend to concede many. Here tonight, they've rectified that narrative. And haven't just dominated by being on the front foot. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by Adidas, the official kit supplier for New York City FC2. A team that hasn't just been able to keep Miami off the scoreboard by bossing possession. They played much better out of possession here in the second and have locked up shop before any major opportunities have fallen at Carmichael and company's feet. New York is readying a pair of changes. And you've got to wonder if Calheira will make his way after more than doing his due diligence up front.
Two New York City substitutions. In the 69th minute, coming on is number 64, Julian Latcher. He replaces number 29, Maximo Carrizo. Number 70, Jake Rosansky, replaces number 74, Ronald Arevalo.
Two changes here for New York.
En el minuto 69 entra con el número 64 Julian Latcher. Por el número
Julian Latcher will replace Maximo Carrizo in the attacking midfield role. Meanwhile, Ronald Arevalo making his way to a deserved applause. He is replaced by Jake Rosansky. Comes off the bench tonight, a former New England Revolution product who has been a mainstay in midfield all season. The two changes for New York as they look to lock up shop. Great chance here for Julian Latcher to continue to impress. He actually started on Saturday in the Hudson River Derby. Played 80 minutes as a left midfielder in the 4-2-3-1. Another young academy product at just 16 years of age with chances to make his mark as the next pro season rages on. And here is Latcher's first touch. Jake Rosansky, meanwhile, a 28-year-old who just turned 28 on Tuesday. He makes his 9th appearance of the year, someone who has had quite the journey. Played for 4 different Israeli clubs in the Israeli Premier League before moving to New England Revolution 2 in the 2021 season. He's now in his debut campaign with New York City FC 2, just moving about 3.5, 4 hours south in New England. Rosansky had quite the college career. He won a national championship and was all-tournament team as a freshman at Maryland. UVA, excuse me. Then he transferred to Maryland. There's someone who's been around the block and looking to establish himself in the first team ranks one day. Zeltzer Zabida for Miami. One back by Calheira, and this is Julian Latcher. Charges ahead. Has some support as well. Latcher towards the byline. It's an intriguing cross, but no white shirts on the end to greet it. Approaching the closing stages, final 20 minutes of business to be taken care of here from Belson Stadium. At this time on Saturday, Red Bulls 2 had begun their push. Scored 2 in a 19-minute span to make things nervous in stoppage time for the Bronx Blues. Miami has yet to offer credible threat going forward in the second half. Team that has scored in every match this year. That hangs in the balance. Flores pops free to Pep Casas. Jimenez. Well, if you've just joined us, thank you for tuning in on MLSNextPro.com. Sam Goldfarb here, bringing you all of the action in what has been a fun one here from Jamaica, New York. New York with a barrage in the first half, a trio of goals including a Taylor Calheira brace, which put them in the driver's seat after 45 minutes. Miami has twisted the screws in the second to no avail. Have rarely threatened Will Myers' goal to this point. Miami is to make a push. It has to come now. Sesak. Tries the first time cross. It is outside the reach of Carmichael. Interchange which has unfortunately characterized the nature of the night for the visitors. Lacked that final bit of connection in the final third. Tio launches it away, and the corner taken quickly by Miami. Flores stood up by Leong, only as far as the substitute. Inside the final 15 minutes of the 90. New York currently cruising to a much-needed 3 points, which would change the complexion of things in the Eastern Conference. As things stand, that is enough to move them up to 5th in the table. They'd be on 19 points. Meanwhile, Miami, we mentioned the implications of a defeat. It would tumble them down to 8th, perilously close to the playoff cut line, with Crown Legacy sitting level with them on points with 2 matches in hand. Miami side that entered the night with the potential to surge to 4th.
New York City substitution in the 76th minute, coming on as number 37.
I've seen their position swing dramatically.
Taylor Calheira.
Calheira vacates after bagging a brace. A terrific performance and a defensive change as Stevo Bednarski replaces him. What a display from Taylor Calheira. After missing the Hudson River Derby back in the 11, scoring for the 3rd consecutive appearance in league play. It was his first half brace, which not only opened the scoring, but may have wrapped things up and sealed the points by halftime. This is Bednarski, his first touch. Bednarski is a 25-year-old. He's played anywhere from CDM to forward for this New York squad. Will now replace Calheira in that center forward spot in this 4-3-3 tonight. Locker. This is Jimenez. He's tugged down by Ty Barton, who already sits on a yellow. Fans, this portion of the match is brought to you by Etihad Airways, the official airline partner of New York City FC 2. Right now, the hosts flying high, a 3-0 lead, as we approach the tail end of this opening day rematch. New York in line for its sweet revenge. Recent substitute Bednarski is in the midst of his 3rd season with New York. Signed with the club out of college after playing at Lehigh and impressing there as a 4-time All-Patriot League selection. More of a reserve this season, though, after enjoying a more regular run in the 11 in previous campaigns. It is also a much more competitive squad than the ones we've seen in years prior. Bednarski linking well with Elias. Not only as far as Chris Tiao. Locker. Eye-popping, one-touch football. He ran into his own defender. He does enough to get this clear. Has not been shy about coming off his line tonight, and that one came much closer to backfiring. Ultimately dealt with by Tiao and company. For Miami, things get interesting if they are to drop points tonight. Another 6-pointer on the cards in 6 days' time against Columbus at Chase Stadium awaits. And then a 13-day layoff before they head to the 6th to take on Toronto, which is a destination that awaits New York in the immediate future in 5 days' time. New York Alliance Stadium, a busy destination in the Eastern Conference over the coming weeks. Here's Locker. He's flashed a lively skill set since entering the fray tonight. Look forward. An unconvincing clearance that falls to the feet of Tiao. Inside the final 10 minutes in the 90. New York knocking it around at will tonight. Elias has support ahead. This is Piero Elias looking to lay it off for Bednarski. Cleaned up by Montenegro in the end. There'll be one more change for Inter Miami. Cohen Yuval is set to enter.
82nd minute, coming on is number 90, Cohen Yuval. He replaces number 12,
And Ty Barton is the man who makes way. Well, Cohen Yuval is a 19-year-old, 18-year-old out of Las Vegas who's in his second year with Inter Miami. He joined after impressing in the high school ranks, was the Nevada Boys Player of the Year in 2022. There's Arroyave with an adventurous run forward. Can't quite find Elias on the cutback. It's Yuval's 5th appearance of the year. He has yet to log a goal or an assist in his young professional days. Locker. Sprayed wide to the feet of Maximo Carrizo. Who is flash perfect stamina, looks like he hasn't missed a beat since taking some time off to feature for the youth national team. A mainstay in those youth national team ranks for the U.S. Locker's cross is dealt with by Hall. Carried only as far as Rosansky. Calheira finds Jimenez. A flashing effort sails over the crossbar. with this result seemingly decided, it's a good time to look around MLS Next Pro and some of the news around the league. Recently, MLS surpassing 100 Next Pro alums signed to first-team contracts. It is a league that prides itself on its ability to develop talent. It has proven itself over its young 3-year history. Many of the men on the pitch are young players on first-team homegrown contracts. We have mentioned that story with regularity tonight. Players growing younger and younger, signing those first-team deals, and now have a more proven youth-to-pro pathway to earn their way into the MLS. Of course, the likes of Jason Russell-Rowe in Columbus, the 2022 MVP, playing in the CONCACAF Champions League final last Saturday. Of course, didn't go Columbus's way, unfortunately, but Next Pro has been a platform for players to eventually ink their names on the biggest stages in North American and world football. Inside the final 5 minutes here at Belson Stadium. Second half performance Matt Pilkington will be much more pleased with, and likely the best full 90-minute display we've seen from a New York side all season. Miami team that will no doubt have to revert back to the drawing board, barring a late miracle here in the Big Apple. Yellow shown to Jacob Arroyave. First man in the book tonight for New York.
A yellow card has been issued to New York City's number 20, Jacob Arroyave, in the 87th minute. Tarjeta amarilla en el minuto 87 para el número 20 de New York City, Jacob Arroyave.
Time for a few more opportunities for New York to continue the onslaught. Locker is offside according to the fourth official. New York team that, as we mentioned, will gear up in 5 days' time to cross the Canadian border and take on Toronto FC2. Then a return home on June 19th when they host Orlando City B. Prolonged time off after that before July. If they can end June with what would be 7 matches unbeaten, they'd feel great about themselves entering that prolonged layoff. With Miami a near immediate chance to make up ground against Columbus, and then the trip to Toronto before finally hosting Atlanta United 2 at the end of the month. One more change for New York before the night comes to a close. It is Camille Atham Ruiz.
He replaces number 20, Jacob Arroyave.
Who replaces Jacob Arroyave. Ruiz had his opportunity in the starting lineup for the first time, made his pro debut on Saturday in the Hudson River Derby, and an impressive debut at that, with his first professional goal in the 40th minute. Get some extended run to close out what has been a comprehensive performance by New York. He is a native of Spain, graduated from Iona, and was the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference's Golden Boot winner last year. 23 years old, hoping to forge his pathway into the MLS. Flores. And this is Sesak. It's time for a couple more chances to put a goal on the board before the 90-minute mark. Zeltzer Zabida. Yuval towards the byline and stood up authoritatively by Owusu. A Miami team that has never finished a match scoreless this year. In legitimate danger of being blanked tonight. Jimenez seemed to come off a bit worse for wear on that challenge, hobbling after the tackle.
The fourth official on the sideline
seems content to stay on the pitch. Just 2
2
minutes of added time separate New York from a second consecutive victory and a third in the last 4 matches. It seems all but academic at this point for the Bronx Blues. Bednarski was hunting Azam Ruiz. Collected by Finnerty. Into the final minute of added time. A more professional display from Matt Pilkington's squad in the second half. No late drama, no signs of life provided. And all 3 points in what appears to be a 3-0 display. One final foray forward for Inter Miami 2. And it is stymied by Will Meyer. On the verge of his first clean sheet of the season. That does it. New York City FC 2, 3 points in dominant 3-0 fashion. On the back of Taylor Calheira's first half brace with a goal in between from Ronald Aravallo. A result that was never in doubt in the second half for Matt Pilkington's squad as they move 5 matches unbeaten here in MLS Next Pro Play, surging up to 5th in the Next Pro standings, whereas Inter Miami 2 an unfortunate dip right towards the depths of the playoff cut line. A lot of work left to be done as they look to solidify their positioning in the top 8. Tonight's man of the match is Taylor Calheira of New York City FC 2, and it is presented by Adidas. A brace will certainly do that for you. It began in the 19th minute. An excellent free kick from a tight angle into the bottom right corner, and the floodgates open from there for New York in the first half. After assisting Aravallo's finish in the 42nd, he added another on the stroke of halftime. It came off of this terrific cross. It's a nice flick-on header from Calheira into that same bottom right corner to add his second right before the break and move his goal tally to 5 on the season in MLS Next Pro action. Well, what a performance it was for New York City FC 2. Their 3rd win in the last 4 matches, surging into the top 5 for a New York squad that has certainly hit its stride. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Sam Goldfarb. Once again, our final score is New York 3, Inter Miami 0. Don't forget you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Have a good night.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.